This expensive and unfunded mandate threatens to add assessments to every subject and every grade, shifting more time from instruction to testing. We risk misidentifying good teachers and ultimately increasing the challenge of attracting effective educators to and keeping them in schools with the greatest needs. Now, I have suggested that student performance should be an important part of any evaluation. When growth is not adequate, turn on those floodlights. Look at everything more closely. Spend more time observing the teacher in the classroom, but also review teaching and learning conditions, technology, textbooks and supplies, attendance, turnover, class size, administrative and parental support, professional development, everything. Ultimately, if you can't tell a teacher what aspect of his or her job performance needs to change, it's not appropriate to punish them by lowering their pay or terminating them. It's an assault on good teachers. It's wrong, and it must be stopped. Now, we're up against quite a fight. Here in Maryland, our adversaries are connected and well organized. Who are they? Let's start with the Maryland Tax Education Foundation. MTEF is chaired by Jeffrey C. Hook, Managing Director of Hook Associates, LLC, an investment bank based in McLean, Virginia. This guy has his own investment bank. He used to be director of a $5 billion private equity partnership. And he was also an investment banker with Lehman Brothers. Remember them? Hook has written for the Reason Foundation, a conservative think tank promoting parochial and school vouchers, private school vouchers. MTEF has recently focused much of its attention on promoting the elimination of defined benefit pensions for public employees. If you look up on the screen, you'll see there are 3 board members listed below the chairman and treasurer's names. The second of them is bankruptcy attorney George W. Liebman. Recently, Liebman wrote the following in the Maryland Gazette, talking about our governor. O'Malley showered money on the state's education establishment, funding tuition freezes with state aid, expanding the state school construction program, and funding, as Ehrlich did not, a portion of the Thornton formula, providing aid to more prosperous subdivisions. More prosperous subdivisions. I think he's referring to Prince George's County in Baltimore City. He continued, the O'Malley administration has lost no opportunity to fortify the position of public employees unions. Thus, a new board has been created to which settlements between unions and local boards of education can be appealed, and expansion of charter schools and aid to private schools has been resisted. Liebman also serves as executive director of the Calvert Institute for Public Policy. This is their website. Here's what he recently said on behalf of the Institute about Maryland's then pending Race to the Top application. Listen carefully, because there are some pretty big words. When Maryland's application fails, as it almost surely will, it is a document that will be tossed in the trash basket and will no longer disturb the peace of the unions and others committed to the status quo. Because the state was in such visible noncompliance with federal suggestions, despite having been graced for an interminable period with its present superintendent of schools, it refrained from even attempting to compete in the first round of applications. A frantic effort was then made to perfume the state's imperviousness to meaningful reform by securing new legislation adjusted to the federal template. This too encountered problems. The governor was forbidden by his political masters and the teachers' unions from relaxing even minutely the restrictions on charter schools contained in the nation's weakest charter school law. The new procedures for teacher evaluation, currently non-existent, were diluted to give unions a large part in devising evaluation procedures and to reduce the state's ability to consider student performance in evaluating teachers. This is the same George Liebman who teamed up with Gabriel Michael on the Maryland Public Policy Institute's Passing the Buck, Maryland's unfunded liabilities for state and local retirees. Its conclusion: the need for converting the defined benefit pension programs into defined contribution programs is manifest. Now, another person at the Maryland Public Policy Institute is senior fellow Marta Hummel-Mossberg. She's also a columnist for the Frederick News Post, the Washington Examiner, and the Baltimore Sun. And this screenshot that you see is from her piece in this Monday's Baltimore Sun. In it, she refers to those 19 states that reduced benefits or increased member contributions to their pension funds. And in it, she also quotes both Jeffrey C. Hook and George Liebman. It's a pretty tight web. What else interests Ms. Mossberg? Recently, she's been promoting tuition tax credits. Here's what Mossberg, the recipient of the Milton and Rose D. Friedman Foundation's Innovation in Promoting School Choice Award, wrote about the BOST bill. The only holdup on the bill has been Delegate Sheila Hickson, Democrat of Montgomery, chairwoman of the House Ways and Means Committee and a recipient of thousands of dollars in the past decade, both individually and as part of a slate of Democratic candidates from the Maryland State Education Association, which opposes the bill. That is worth an applause. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't mention a final link. The Maryland Public Policy Institute's own board of directors. You ready for this? You ready for this? You recognize anyone? Governor Robert Ehrlich was named a director weeks after he lost the 2006 election. While he formally stepped down when he began his campaign this past April, the Institute continues to recognize him on their website as Emeritus Director. Now, MSEA delegates, I've used the term assault several times during my remarks. I chose it deliberately. Anyone taking the time to examine the links among conservative policy groups operating in our state, newspaper writers and members of their editorial boards, and politicians, and then read some of the statements they've made about our pension benefits, our evaluation system, school funding, and privatization, understands that assault is the appropriate term. I know MSEA is up to this challenge. We can stop the assault. And there are 3 ways you can help. First, you've got to dedicate yourself to winning this election over the next 18 days. There is no doubt we're better off with Martin O'Malley as governor. Yes, you know, I realize that we've got a lot of members in MSEA who are Republicans. And many of them are upset that we didn't endorse Bob Ehrlich. I get the emails. But you know what? Bob Ehrlich made it clear. He did not want our endorsement. He never completed a questionnaire or an interview. He's never completed a questionnaire or an interview. He's told us he doesn't share our values, our objectives, or our opinions. And in fact, last night when I went back to the room after the president's reception and turned on the news, I saw clips from yesterday's final gubernatorial debate. And you know what Bob Ehrlich said? In addition to eliminating GCEI and shifting costs to counties of pensions, he said that we must end defined benefit pensions for any new hires. The choice in this election is crystal clear. Second, we must continue to focus on membership. Terry Borneman mentioned that membership is down. Our first month's report indicates that it's down by several hundred. Delegates, the forces we're facing are formidable. Educators who choose not to join MSEA are placing their job security, their wages, their benefits, and their profession in jeopardy. It is critical that they know what's at stake, and we all have to tell them. And finally, we must energize our members at the grassroots level, speak up to protect pensions, organize to crush attempts to base our evaluations and employment security on high-stakes student test results, and also understand that no matter who's elected in 2.5 weeks, we're going to be dealing with the General Assembly under enormous fiscal pressure. So we're going to have to keep the activism up. Delegates, we are blessed. We are blessed to live in a state that up until now has made public education a priority. Since 2005, I've been fortunate to lead a staff that is truly passionate about advancing the interests of public education, public educators, and our union. I deeply appreciate the support you've provided me over the past 5 years, and thank you for it. Together, we will turn back the assault and continue to celebrate victories. Thank you very much.